How's it going, guys? This is the first official episode of Jackal and Crow. We got some wires and technical difficulties here. We're still trying to kind of figure this shit out a little bit. But I think we're doing all right. I'm Crow. This here is my brother Marcus. Also,
Jackal.
Yes, sir. Jackal himself. So we're just going to give you guys a little bit of background on us. I'm going to give my brother here a little interview, have him talk about his situation and so on and so forth.
I got a situation.
Yeah, yep, so...
Yeah, lost my legs in Nam and... Bad situation.
So, people who don't know, my brother was enlisted. He's more conservative leaning than I am. I would say I'm a little bit more central left than what he would be, so I'm a little bit more liberal. It might be because I went to college. I don't know.
That's what I think. You surround yourself with those kids with the yacht shorts and the I don't know what kind of shoes they wear, but
thigh highs with the fucking Keds and
what's those weird? They're not moccasins, but they look like moccasins. I don't know, but that's what they wear. Them.
It has to be the Vans.
Those golf T-shirts. You can't do nothing to them when they're being an ass because their dad's got lawyers. We broke as hell. We are broke. That's when you start charging. Keep the lights on.
It's a struggle bus out here for the both of us. Tell them what you do for a living.
We talked about this. I don't know how to explain it.
I would call it. He does adult Legos.
I build
what I call it.
I upfit engines, and for like 89% of the people don't know what that is. I don't build the engines.
He does the Lego planning without the
I build on top of them in enclosures and stuff.
This is a
diesels,
hat, bro. I should have never wore this hat.
It's a fishing hat.
It is.
At least you get the head for it. It's like a basketball shape.
I hope they don't make fun of my beard.
You gotta order the Dollar Shave Club stuff. That's how I grew what I have in. But I'm trying to switch to that stuff that Hodge Twin sells.
I need to do the micro needling. I got a micro needler. I'm just not very consistent with it. So
how was that?
It's like a rolling thing. You roll it on your beard, and it supposedly increases the blood flow and oxidation to the follicles in your skin. So it's supposed to be really good, but
that sounds like a weird ripoff.
It's fruitless so far, but it works out.
Like at the dealership I used to work at, we had to install these little things that go on the battery. So you stick them onto the inside of under the hood, on something metal surface, and you run the wires to the battery, and then a long remote wire all the way around to the other side. It's supposed to send out electrical pulses to your car to stop rusting. Does that not sound like snake oil?
That does kind of sound... Would it reduce the oxidation factor?
I don't know, but I've never seen them work. People paid $60 to $80. I got SRT time of an hour to put them on. It took 20 minutes. Do 6 of those in a day. That's good money.
That's better than what I do right now. For those of you who don't know, I'm literally the definition in between jobs. I'm a temp at Casey's, and so far all I've done is logged stuff into Field Track, which is a field tracking system, and I don't recommend it so far. And it's temp employment, so this coming Monday...
He works in a cubicle.
I do work in a cubicle.
Out of all the blue-collar style work you've done, why did you choose to work in a cubicle?
I don't want to work in a cubicle.
What scarred you so bad you're you know what, fuck this?
I just, I didn't want to, destroy my body for the rest of my life doing, hard labor jobs. So
I don't want to destroy my... Dude, there's
and now
people
I'm destroying my health by sitting on my ass for 8 hours a day, so that's...
There's people that live long times. Like the 100-something-year-old dude that ran that marathon or whatever.
Yeah, I know, but, imagine what he feels like every day, Rice Krispie knees.
Rice Krispie knees. Speaking of old people, you know whose birthday it is today?
Who?
You know that guy from Star Wars? He's an older dude. He's all red Sith.
Darth Maul?
Against the dude that got his head cut off. When Anakin scissored.
Oh, the Count Dooku, right? Or no. Yeah, Count Dooku.
I don't know Star Wars too well. That's something I have to ask Blake, bro.
That's actually Obi-Wan came out today.
Yeah, I know, but I'm watching Shorzy.
Just a small plug here. Jody's Corner, somebody who told me to pursue this idea. He's actually reviewing that on his Patreon. So if you don't know, head over to Jody's Corner on YouTube. Dude's hilarious, fat black dude. I can relate heavily to that. So, but he's a cool guy.
I think I've only have one person I follow on Patreon.
Who's that?
I only downloaded it for Chiseled Adonis.
Yeah.
Well, because I discovered him like the first year he ever made YouTube. I can't even think. I can't think how many years ago back it was. But I found him on Facebook making those football highlight commentaries. And then I stumbled on his YouTube page one day and I started watching his stuff. And he has like all different kind of videos from like boxing to some baseball, basketball, all sorts of, and then like random shit he sees on like the internet and stuff like that. But he's been trying to like put up stuff on Pornhub, like a Pornhub account, not like actual porn, but what he does is he just loads up his like regular like NFL highlights and shit on Pornhub. But what he's trying to do is so many followers so he can get the Letterman jacket from Pornhub.
That's smart.
It's $100 jacket. He can buy it like any day, but he wants to earn it. But because I don't think he puts out any content like that, you know, what they need, they keep banning his account right before he hits those high numbers.
Poor guy.
He's from, I think, Brooklyn, I want to say. The dude's funny, man. He's like same age as me.
Isn't his favorite team the Steelers?
Oh yeah, he's a huge Pittsburgh fan and a Miami Heat fan. That's how I can relate.
Celtics all the way for me.
Dude.
When's the next game for them?
I think that's tonight or tomorrow because you guys just beat us, so it's 3-2. But Golden State, they're securing a lock. I don't know if
they're gonna win again.
If your Celtics or my Heat wins, whoever wins, they got to go up against Golden State and.
You can't beat Steph Curry. He's literally fucking.
If Klay Thompson comes back healthy, it's game over for everybody. It's game over for everybody if Klay Thompson comes back.
Yeah. We're drinking Sprite today, the official drink of black men.
Yeah, with codeine in it. Cough syrup. Like Drake said, could be purple, could be pink.
Yeah, it could be. So why did you start liking the Atlanta Falcons?
So I grew when I was born, and like by the time I was like 4 or 5, you know, I hung out with Tyler all day, every day, our cousin, and we should stop name dropping people in the family. It's not gonna be good. So hang out with our cousin Tyler, and him and his dad got that Jerome Bettis jersey, and you know, I thought I was going to be a Pittsburgh fan, and I'm like, well, why can't I choose my own team? So I started thinking, well, maybe Philly, but when I have NFL Blitz 2000, 2001, and I was looking at the stats, and the Bucks had the best stats, and I usually played with them because they're an easier team to play against some slack job. I mean, I wasn't good at video games at that age. I don't know, eventually, then I think it's for the colors at first. Everybody's like, you know, Dirty Bird Nation, and I'm like, hey, I could be a part of something cool. And then, you know, we went to the Super Bowl, and after that halftime show, we left the Super Bowl. Dude, I don't know. I don't condone anybody causing violence for no reason on anybody, but I will condone people wishing bad things on other people. Like if Tom Brady broke his legs, you know, just out of the blue, woke up one day and it's just his legs were broken by some miracle genie or some shit. If I got a genie in a lamp, the first thing I would do is wish that Brady had broken legs. I don't know if it's me hating on him. I know he's good. I know he's good, but dude, you're gotta be too good. I figure like this is the same conversation people have that don't like Michael Jordan.
Oh yeah.
Like, man, I just wish he would just stop playing. But how great was it to hear Tom Brady retired? I rejoiced for that.
He came back.
month. I rejoice. This is the happiest month of my life since like I cleaned myself up. Like, damn.
It's fucking unbelievable how many Super Bowls that guy has in his back pocket. I wish I could be like, oh, he cheated for a bunch of them, but Deflate Gate or whatever.
I'm 99.999% positive he's cheating too much in this, but that's fine. Give the fans what you want. I don't mind cheating so bad. I wish that everybody in baseball would take steroids.
Take steroids? Why?
Well, because, I mean, just imagine a game where everybody's just fucking juice. And there's nobody better than the next guy. There's nobody, like, just performing better than the next dude. Everybody's juiced up and just, I mean, superhuman strength. And imagine how fast those pitches are. Or boxing. Imagine if everybody boxing is roided up. It'd just be like you know, the Coliseum. They get the Coliseums back in the day.
Oh, gladiator fight?
That's yes. Since we can have that.
I'm not entertained.
That is the next best thing. If you can have gladiator fights, I want a sport. If I get enough money, I would fund the sport. Probably last like 2 days if it could pass. But just hire a bunch of awesome doctors, and then hire some just, I don't know, dude off the street, just to juice up and fight like a professional athlete that just thinks he can do it. So Conor McGregor, he's like, oh, you waited up.
Is he fighting anybody here shortly? Because I heard like Jake Paul and him were supposed to, or it was Logan Paul.
I know that fight. I believe that's still on, but I don't know what he's been up to.
That dude's a genius. I wish I could fight people for millions of dollars.
Dude, he's one of the only people ever to have 2 belts at the same time in 2 different weight classes. I think BJ Penn's like pretty cool too. He was one of like the few people that got his black belt in like 3 years in jiu-jitsu or something like that. It's almost like unheard of.
Well, to go back to football, as much as I would hate to admit it, but Tiano's right. I definitely hopped on the bandwagon during the 2009 Super Bowl for the Saints. But then, at least I stuck around, you know, because they did not do too good last year.
See, I try to give myself credit for sticking around after that 28-3, but
28-3.
It's not as bad as Dad. Our dad's a Raiders fan, but I will say this:
die-hard Raiders fan.
All Raiders fans are die-hard Raiders fans. They honestly wake up with the 100% belief that they are going to go to the Super Bowl every year. But you know what? It's hope like that. That's why they're starting to do a little bit better.
Do you think that Dad was just a huge fan of the NWA, and that's why he's a huge Raiders fan?
NWA.
Yeah, because they rocked the Raiders gear before it was popular. Yeah. That's what I think. Who else would you be a huge Raiders fan?
You know, I never asked Dad how he became a Raiders fan.
That's what I'm saying. Uncle Mark was a Panthers fan.
I thought he was a Bears fan.
We don't know our relatives.
Because I'm pretty sure him and Dad were watching a Raiders-Bears game that night.
I thought it was the Panthers. That's how I remember it in my mind. But then again, I was like 6 or 7. I was in elementary. I have no idea.
I was
14.
No, because I was 6th grade. So
yeah, so like 12. So I was about 8.
Yeah,
so,
I don't fucking remember.
I don't know. We're not good at this type of math.
I have no memory. Like my memory. So like my long-term memory usually is like perfect. So like instant recall. And anything like short-term, if it holds like no serious relevance, it's like gone within like process of goldfish memory.
That is something I want to talk to you about because you had gotten like really into the research about your ADHD and how that affects your brain capability. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that and how you found out like that it's a little bit more serious than what had been previously let on?
Well, it's not necessarily serious. It's just overly diagnosed because parents don't want to like treat your kids. But most of the time now is they won't even diagnose you without talking like to like a psychiatrist for like multiple months on end, and they have to do like IQ tests sometime to like measure. But see, tonight I have to go over like my actual results for mine because they think that the IQs can measure how you connect with people, but they also think I'm elbows in on the spectrum because ADHD and autism are
high functioning autism sort of thing.
Well, yeah, they're listing me as high functioning anyway, but and then they have no idea about the mood changes stuff, which is fun. But no, so they're cousins, ASD and ADHD. They have multiple similarities. What's up, kitty kitty? And it's more than just not being able to pay attention or focus. I mean, everybody has issues paying attention, focusing, or impulsive behavior. That could just be normal. The difference is that people with ADHD, every symptom they have is the same as everybody else. The difference is it happens at such a alarming rate for constant. So it happens more and more often that it's almost impossible to like explain to somebody that doesn't actually have it. Like if you could take Adderall and get like a billion things done because it gives you like this energy boost, you probably don't have it. If you take Adderall and you slow down and study a course, it's a better chance. I'm not saying to test your hypothesis with
we are
Adderall.
not doctors, but
but they do say that most stuff like that is like it starts off with like a curious self-diagnosis. But I read like the entire like DMV-5, and which is like some people say that it's some people like love it. It's like controversial, but I read probably almost every research paper, wrote books from the last 10 years when it was, 10 years ago is like when it actually started to get looked into. And now it's like a totally different game where it's like, we're going to see because you could have this instead. There's thousands of different like learning disabilities and mental issues and stuff like that. But I follow that kid, something Wolf on Instagram, and he's turned his ADHD into like commentary, but it like helps explain what it's like to actually have it, and then body dysphoria and all this different stuff that can come from mistreated or untreated ADHD, because it can get worse with high intense level of depression, anxiety, like ADHD paralysis, where you need to do something, your brain's screaming, go do something, but you just can't move. You're just like vegged out on the couch watching Shoresy.
To tie that back into politics, would you say the Democratic Party or the Republican Party does more for mental health? And from where
I haven't really looked into that, to be honest with you. I haven't looked into anything that has to do with mental health and politics. I just know that it's not. It takes 3 to 4 months to see a therapist or a psychiatrist to even get some help.
And then figuring out if the medication even works for you takes
it takes like 2 years to treat something if you could have just got in. But everybody has mental problems these days, so it's always booked up. There's not enough people, helping.
That's one thing I saw in a YouTube video a while back, is that Gen Z is struggling with a weakness because of their access to social media, and that is what's hindering us from being emotionally more intelligent and stronger like previous generations with thicker skin. Would you agree with that statement?
What's the beginning of that?
So is Gen Z like weaker mentally because of
because people, the thing is, this is a topic I could go in forever. Like, we got our butts beat like day in and day out. My dad didn't like square up or anything like that, but
me a little less, I will say.
But hell, I get my ass beat from like 5 to 13 on a daily basis.
He definitely led by example of what not to do in the house, that's for sure.
But just curious. Test limits. It's how you become a champion. You have to push yourself a little harder. Take them beatings. Yeah, but the problem is today's society says that parents need to be their kids' best friend. No, your kids need to not look at you like a friend, but as a parent and a guardian. Somebody to respect. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, sir. Don't say what. Say excuse me, or can you please repeat that. Hold the door open for, people getting groceries or just anywhere for, respect your elders, manners, sit up straight, good posture, stuff like that. But parents teach these kids that it's okay to, and it is okay to show some emotion and stuff like that, sure. But I think it ties back to like the older days when men don't cry or, adults don't, do this. I'm not saying that that's right, but it might be necessary. I mean, it might be necessary to emotionally castrate at least a little bit, because emotions clog judgment. When I was taking my IQ test 2 weeks ago, my therapist wanted to talk to me about something that is going on in my life that is not easy to deal with. And in the beginning of the IQ test, I was doing so bad. But as I was going through it for like the hour and a half, 2 hours I was doing this test, I started getting better because I stopped forgetting about what was, in here, and then just started kind of thinking like a robot and just taking the test. Like, that's it, just a test. Nothing else, just compartmentalizing things. But yeah, I think that and I don't even think it's a Gen Z's problem because they're still new. They don't know. I think it's millennials and...
If I'm not mistaken, I'm part of Gen Z, so...
I think it's millennials and whoever's above them or before them, because it starts with the parents. And I want to blame anybody that was an 80s kid.
Okay.
And the reason why is because, things were a little bit easier into the 80s. You just got, out of some serious shit. But, you think about just, like, the hippie stage and stuff like that. And I'm not saying, like, it was, like, easy for everybody. But I'm saying life wasn't as scary, You didn't have to worry about, airplanes running into buildings, people running up into schools and stuff like that there. Which sucks, but it's only going to get worse, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, obviously something needs to change. I voiced out my opinions on how to fix a lot of things, but... they're not as popular as the next people, so I kind of keep it to myself for a while. Okay. But I think it's those people that they grew up a little bit easier than their probably parents before them. They probably fought in like World War II or something like that. They're a little harder, so they raised their kids, and the kids were a little easier going. And then now they're giving birth to people my age, and it was still easy. I mean, growing up for us, granted there was poor. Life wasn't that hard, and now you got 100 different rules. Make sure you say the right pronouns and do this and do this and do this, and there's rules to everything from leaving your house to coming back. There's just an ungodly amount of social norms out there. I think we just need to drop stuff, take warning labels off of things, and just let people sort themselves out.
If it were up to you, would you place certain restrictions? Like, if you could make laws, would you restrict access to social media till a certain age? Kind of like
yeah,
stuff like that.
I think because I don't think kids should be targeted. I didn't want like a Facebook. Like, Facebook is what made me get more social medias, but I didn't have a choice but to get a Facebook because I think it was like mom's way of spying or something to see what I was doing in life. But I was a pretty like down to earth. I've been social distancing my whole life. I don't like people at all. And I think high school is a decent age, but even then, I think there needs to be like special restrictions on age restrictions for people, because like hell, Instagram is like one of the leading causes of female teenage deaths,
suicide, yep.
And that's because they have to live up to a specific standard, or they feel like they have to live up to a specific standard, and that's what's trashing them. So I think there should be a lot more age restrictions. Sure, it's not as fun, and age restrictions don't do anything. When I was a kid, if I wanted to watch something I need to be older for, I just switched the date up, and then if I had to reset the password, I just had to remember what year I was not born.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't a social butterfly in high school. However, I did have a select few friends that I could keep around me to keep me busy. So, but I did also have sort of a issue with like race swapping, because like if you hang around with black people, you act act
product
blacker,
of your environment.
You know, and that was always something that I kind of struggled with. Is there's a word for that, but I can't remember what it is.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I learned that word. It's because I had a friend. I told her, "Hey, get some, like some braids or something like that, or like cornrows or something like that." And she said that she
like
couldn't
code
do
swapping or something like that.
Nah, I can't remember the word, and I don't remember who to ask. I heard it on the radio the other day too.
If you guys see me reaching over here, we have Tank featured in this video quite a few times. He's requesting pets, so but cute cat. So another thing, I suppose, we'll dig. You want to dig into your situation with that like pit in your stomach that you get?
Oh, that's just ulcers that I can get. I mean, they're not bad. It just hurts, but it's.
I'm not talking about your health issue. I'm talking more of your empathy thing. Okay.
That's not relevant.
That's fair. I won't pry. So, just a little bit more. Why do you side more with conservative values than liberal?
Because I think it has to do with everything that's normal, and as far as how we were raised. I mean, you got either religious values, that's usually more on the conservative side too, but also being conservative is not about, being pro everything, just extreme. It's about working hard to get what you need, not asking for help, and limited supervision. Most conservatives or libertarians focus on small government. Government has one job: tell us what's going on, give us the information, and then it's us as a people to decide ourselves of how we are going to, what we're going to do about it. That's about being a conservative. Is just about being American. It's about being free. It's about doing what you do every day. You wake up, you work, you come home, you drink a beer, polish your guns, play some golf, go to bed, wake up the next morning, Saturday, go fishing. It's not about, crying over spilt milk or he called me a dude or, anything like that. It's just go live your life. And if you have an issue with something, you ignore it and you just walk past it. You don't have to stop and turn into a full-blown Karen about everything. And that's kind of how I feel liberals do. They get so offended over everything and they feel so attacked over everything.
See, I understand that sentiment, but at the same time, I feel like out of the two parties, Democrats are a little less argumentative. But I feel like they're a little bit more flexible to change than conservatives would be.
Yeah, they're definitely flexible to change more into, the newer style of things, sure. But they cater to too much, and I think the reason why they're not up to arguing is because their arguments don't hold a lot of value, a lot of validation, not a lot of weight. And, real, heavy right-sided Republicans are the same way. The thing is they start with a fantastic point, but then they go overboard with something that's not totally consistent of what they're talking about. The problem is that you got one side that thinks they're right, another side that thinks they're right, and they can't seem to coexist.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have, your more, you get your independents and your libertarians, and then some of them lean more, to the liberal or conservative. Those people know how to coexist. The country wasn't made for red versus blue. I mean, back when, first voting, it wasn't just Republican versus Democrat. You had, your own conservative parties, your own independent parties, your own liberal parties, people that represented, specific areas. And now it's just, you got a couple lines down the middle, the people that like to just stay in the middle. Then you got right and left, and the people in the middle have to decide at the end of the day which one they're going for. People vote on color and not on I guess, principle and policies. I will say I would love to take mean tweets over this gas prices. I just bought a lovely new car and I would love to drive it all the time. And then I look at
I think we can both
Quick Trip and I'm like, oh, yeah, I ain't paying that.
It's like what is it now? $4.19 here in Iowa.
Is it $4.19? Well, that Quick Star over there is the cheapest around here.
Yeah, Quick Star's always been fairly cheap. I didn't know this. Small plug for Quick Star. But if you show them that you do have a fuel saver, I think they give you like 20 cents off automatically per gallon.
Just the card itself?
Just the card, because they want to combat Hy-Vee. So,
bet!
it's fairly nice, at least.
But you have to go in there then.
Yeah, you'd have to go to the counter and give them like a 20 or whatever, but...
I believe in hard work, but I ain't walking to the counter. I don't even slide my card.
It might be worth it here in a couple months. Who knows? But if it goes over $5 a gallon, bro,
I'm buying a bike.
You're gonna see a brother in shape. That's for sure.
Have the best glutes in town, the best quads.
All ass across town. They call me Moomin Rider after that.
just be Armstrong and across.
It's tough, dude. Even food prices are rising nowadays, and I love food. So
see, this is one thing is. I know this is a bad practice. I really do. But I do it on purpose. When I go grocery shopping and I get food and stuff, I'm making a point to never look at the price. On purpose. Because I know I'm going to be like, no. And with my medication, I hardly ever eat anyway. Maybe once a day at the very least. Just for breakfast to take my meds. But after that, I may not eat until the next day. Maybe the next 2 days. If I just don't take my meds that day or something. But... So when I just go get food, I'm like, I know what I want to eat. I know it sounds good. Screw the prices. It sucks, and sometimes the bank account, after I check it, it gets a little touchy, But I do most of my grocery shopping, like, in the middle of the month. So, like, for the first half of the month, I already have, after I pay all the bills, I take that rest of that money, and I just get groceries. Then that second, third week, I'm just... buying ingredients and stuff, freezing it and whatnot, and then for like the rest of the month I'm thawing it out, and then weekly I food prep, and I only cook as much as I need for that week, and then I don't have to worry about it.
I might be wrong about this, but I think my huge weakness for calorie intake is the usage of sauces, because I load up on barbecue. Just about every barbecue sauce that's available in Hy-Vee, I've had at least once. And even the sugar-free ones that are terrible, I've tried it.
Well, you just gotta season a little differently then. Because for steaks, I used to use A1. If you put A1 or any sauce on my steak, it's gloves
that's
off.
That's not something that I usually eat though. I'm usually chicken and pizza.
But hot sauce is not bad for you.
Well, yeah. Well, it's bad for me because I have some acid reflux issues.
So I power through. I mean, it hurts. But...
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you gotta tough it out, especially for Mexican food. I mean, sometimes it's hard to beat a good taco. Like any other food, if you get a good taco, it just hits different. But it's definitely. I don't know. Would it be my favorite? What's your favorite food? Type of food?
Oh, dude, my favorite food's been Hispanic food. For probably, well, it was spaghetti at first, and then I used to hate tacos as a kid, but then I don't know, over the times.
Used to be the TJ plug back in the day.
Yeah, but I think just living at Jason's house for all those summers, learning from his mom how to make authentic Hispanic food, especially Ecuadorian food, and then just learning how to season everything perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I in and out of hobbies, so I'm always in and out of palate tasting too. Sometimes I want 1 week I'll eat just a bunch of Hispanic food. The next week it could be all Italian food. Next week could just be all greens because I just ate like crap for the last 2 weeks. So I have to go for like a week or two just eating super, super healthy and super lean white meat or something like that. So I balance it out pretty evenly throughout the month. Just
yeah, I yo-yo diet pretty hard sometimes.
Well, consistency gets boring and bland after a while. It's
hard to be consistent.
Well, aren't you doing the meal thing now?
We were doing was not Fresh Fit Meals. One of the subscription services where they deliver it to you.
Yeah, I was thinking about trying that particular one that you're thinking of. Why can't I think of the name?
It's on the tip of my tongue too. Oh, goodness. HelloFresh.
Yeah, everybody. Well, I only know a couple people doing it, but it seems nice. It seems perfect.
The thing for HelloFresh that gets me is they advertise like it's a meal sent to your door with all the instructions and stuff, which is great. But my issue is I hate cooking the food because I hate doing dishes. And HelloFresh doesn't come already cooked. You have to cook it yourself.
See, I'm fine with cooking as long as I have the food to do it. My problem is, like, I don't mind cooking. I hate grocery shopping because there's people. And what bothers me is people that go slower than me. So if you're walking in front of me and you're going slower, like, I get, like, a shock of just complete anger and disgust for you right then. You're driving 34 and a 35. I just want to push a button in my car, turn to a monster truck, and run you over.
The slowness that bugs you, or is it the lack of awareness that there's people that probably need to, get ahead of you that annoys you the more? Because for me, it's the lack of the awareness.
But it's definitely the slowness. Like, if you're slow and I can walk around you, that's no problem. But if you're taking up like an entire lane, entire aisle,
that's
or
what I'm
something
saying,
like that,
because they're not aware that they're in the middle. That's why I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know. I just want things to move faster because my brain moves like super, super fast. So everything I do has to keep up with that. Hence why I like lose my memory or like train of thought quickly because I've finished the conversation before it's even halfway done.
Yeah.
And I play it out in my head in like every different way of how it could go. And like when I'm just in a slow moving grocery store, I'm like, let's go. And then I just want to run Nana over with her tapioca.
Yeah.
I still don't know what that shit is.
It might be a type of fish.
I think it's a pudding. Tapioca? I'm pretty sure it's like a flam or pudding or...
Tiramisu is the thing what you're thinking of. Is that a pudding? No, I think that's like a... Is tiramisu a pudding?
It's like mousse, ain't it?
I have no idea.
we don't eat that rich stuff. You tiramisu, I've only seen that on like some like fancy restaurants. For me, fancy is like, girl, I'm gonna take you out to the Olive Garden, girl. You're gonna get spoiled with them free breadsticks. Which I'll admit, man, if a girl excited to go to Olive Garden for some breadsticks and like some chicken gnocchi, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, Marcus can spit game, so he is single, ladies. So reach out. Yeah, man. You have any questions for me or anything?
I think we just bounce off of each other, bud.
Yeah, I know.
It's like,
this is a weird show so
far. I feel like half the times you can just ask me questions you just want to ask yourself. I'm just going to throw my 2 cents in the whole damn time.
That's fair. I mean, if you guys have suggestions for us, always feel free to leave a comment and the thing. We'll try to discuss it.
I think we should set up like an ask email. So people can
I do have in the description for the YouTube video our email address, so if you guys want to...
Yeah, if you have like random questions, we will give you the best that we can, but unlicensed, unprofessional, but slightly professional, because we done been through hell. I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, we had clothes on our back, and, usually had something to eat, unless it was gross. And then we just went without. We'll take an ass whipping and just go to bed without dinner.
If you guys need to know anything about the contents of Little Caesars Pizza, we got you covered. So
can you get sued for that? Like, this is a secret formula. You just got some Domino's dude like what they doing to get that $5 good tasting food.
I definitely know how to make it from scratch, but boy, did we eat the shit out of that place, bro.
Dude, my parents met at like Little Caesars, or was it Chi-Chi's they met at? I can't remember.
Probably both. I think Dad met Aunt Steph at Little Caesars, but
I know like his whole family worked there too, didn't they? Everybody worked there.
One of their moms was
dude, could you imagine you, me, Jacob, Quentin, Caleb all working at the same area? Ain't nothing gonna get done.
I'd be fighting people, bro.
I just make somebody go clean the bathrooms. I'll sit in the back, count money.
A little bit of a pretext to my brother and I's relationship. Sometimes it's hard for us to get along. We say shit that, like all siblings fight, obviously. But my brother here is the most consistent relationship I've had in my entire life. So he's not to sound gay, but he's definitely the one person I call if I'm in a situation at all times, pretty much. And
we grew up under the same roof for years. I mean, ate the same stuff. If he went somewhere, I had to go. If I went somewhere, he had to go. I mean, we'd hang out with friends.
Clothes, like,
I mean,
females.
we'd have to. He'd go to a friend's house, I had to come, vice versa. So you'd think that we'd have pretty much, from having the same life experiences up until 18, we'd have the same background, the same, principles. But obviously things change with different experiences. But from two people that grew up in the same house experiencing nearly the same things through life to 18, and then, years down the road, damn near 2 years down the road, you got to think there's so much, we split like a tree.
It was definitely during the transition for me to move out and go to college that we separated in our ideals, I feel like. There's days that sometimes I'm like, maybe I am conservative, because I went through that brief period with Louder with Crowder, or whatever his name is.
Steve Crowder?
Because I like the argumentative aspect of his videos.
It's not an argument.
It's a discussion.
It's a controlled discussion.
But at the same time, I feel like he sets it up for people to have a reaction, because that's what gets the most views. But obviously, that's neither here or there. But there is periods in my time where I understand the Republican aspect of things, which is what I think more people need to realize, is that both parties are right on some
yeah, when they meet issues down the middle. But the thing is they both go too beyond. Like, Republicans go too beyond with, like, pot control. I'm like, come on. You look at places like Colorado, their first, 2 years of legalizing marijuana, they saw a major decrease in opioids, and they used so much of their monies to fix some of their raggedy streets and yada, yada, yada. And they profited so much. Same with Chicago, made a lot of money when they did theirs too. Mostly because people from other states were, hey, we're going to go take a vacation where the good stuff's at. But, and then on the Democratic side, you see just too much money being spent to just talk crap, lie, cheat, steal. And the Republicans, it's lie, cheat, steal. And like in the middle, you have, but that's the thing, is you should watch both, Fox, CNN.
I just feel like the mature decision for at least someone like me, the key takeaway for politics is both sides are racist deep down, because it's old white people running the government at all times.
The problem is that they're both right on certain things. They don't meet down the middle. I don't know where I'm getting at this. I had like a thought, and then I'm having a Joe Biden moment now. I can't think of crap.
Oh boy, Joe Biden moments, everybody. Well, this is going to be it for the first take.
That's 43 minutes. We have to charge at least $2.
I guess, yeah.
I gotta pay that internet bill.
Dude, internet's getting expensive. That's $35 for fucking mediocre internet nowadays.
See, I have decent internet here, but because they go through that company, but free internet up to like 20 megs, and I'm paying like, and that's free, but I'm paying like $40 to have a gig. If I paid up to like, I want to say $50 or $60, that's like 2 gigs.
That's nuts. Yeah, well, I appreciate you guys if you made it this far. Please, if you would, drop a like and a subscribe. We'll definitely be back with more.
Tell your friends, it's going to get really interesting. I mean, if you got shows, movies you want us to commentate about, this pretty much is just, I'm an up-and-coming, hopefully soon-to-be comedian, so I can quit my job, and we want to make reviews about just whatever. I mean, if you have things that you really, really enjoy, we're probably going to make fun of it. That's first and foremost. We're going to offend half of you. If you don't like me because of my very, very strong opinions about things, then you're going to like him. And if you don't like him for his not as strong but witty, remarks on certain things, you're going to like me. So there's always something back and forth. It's yin and yang, but it intermixes in some type of peace and harmony.
Peace and harmony.
I can't remember what kid I was making fun of. I want to say it was somebody from like an old Bruce Lee movie. But anyway, so it's going to be just nothing but comedy. I mean, it's just going to be a place for you to laugh, maybe get offended, maybe learn something, get on and see how stupid we are half the time. Most of the shit we're going to talk about, we know half of nothing about the contents. We're just going to go in blind, minus the political stuff, we'll probably back that up. But when it comes to just funny movies or horror movies, sports, whatever's trendy, if there's something you want us to talk about, we'll talk about it. We'll give us our honest opinion.
Yeah, you can ask any of our friends in a fucking horror movie or just like very serious moments. I think
I've seen every horror movie since like the 80s, even like the B-rated ones. Now there's some newer ones that I'm like, nah, not worth my 2 hours of time today. No, but man, we've seen the dumbest movies, man. Like Rubber. That movie was stupid.
That fucking bird movie that Dad picked out.
God.
So, but yeah, guys, thank you for sticking around. We appreciate it, and please come back for next time. We appreciate it. Thank you.